All right, I'd like to call the 1 o'clock meeting Board of Trustees on November 15, 2021 to order. Let's start with the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all. Okay, I'm going to call roll. So President Eric Schultz is detained presently. Secretary Treasurer Scott M. Horowitz, I am here. Trustee Ed J. Warner Jr.
Present.
Trustee William Pell IV.
Present.
Trustee Ann Welker.
Here.
Okay. Next work session will be after Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Will be Monday, December 6th at 9:30 a.m., followed by a regular meeting on December 6th at 1 p.m. Do we have some minutes that need to be accepted?
Yes,
Is
the
there a
special meeting of November 1st.
Is there a motion to accept the November 1st, 2021 at 9:25 a.m. meeting?
Motion.
Second? All in favor?
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. We have discussion on here, North Sea CAC Strong's Marina. Are you ready to go with that discussion, Mr. Pell?
We're gonna put that off because I did not get enough information with Sean and with Eddie to go over the permits.
Okay, so let's not, if we don't have enough information, let's put that discussion off. Public portion. Is there anybody from the public here that would like to address the board? I would say stick to 3 minutes since we're on a real tight schedule. Is there anybody who could raise their hand so we could get?
I have some people coming in right now.
Good.
Thanks, Charles.
Who's gonna time them?
Jill is first.
I can time them.
Okay, be strict. Like a school
got it.
teacher.
You got it.
Okay.
Okay, Jill is first.
Hello, Jill.
Let's get her video on. There we go.
Hello, Jill.
All right, I'm there. Are you there? I'm there.
Yes, how are you?
How are you?
Good.
So 2 quick things. One, I know Scott and I have talked, which is great. Appreciate it. I don't know if you guys have come down here, and I would share a picture on my screen, but I'm not that good at Zoom in terms of I may screw it up. But there's no sand left, not a shock from what was moved back in June, I believe. So obviously it's eroded away. So we have complete rocks showing again, which is now their rocks are acting as not just a bulkhead, but a perpendicular structure. So we're gonna rapidly eroding away. I wanted to get just an understanding. I know that, Scott, that the guy was going to come down. I want to get an understanding of exactly how much sand you were looking at moving, because I know, Ed, you had talked about 15,000 cubic yards or so, which is definitely needed. Is that still your intention? So that would be my first question.
Well, as far as the sand goes, I need to meet with the contractor down on site. The couple meetings that we had planned, unfortunately, the weather was not cooperative. I have to pick a time when the tide is low in the morning. There's no traffic. So it's been rather difficult to meet a contractor down there to go over with what we're looking at moving. I did talk to the county, and Scott Hillary said there was about 5,000 cubic yards of material taken out of the project at Middle Pond, and he said somewhat less in Far Pond and Middle Pond. So I think it's not what we had hoped as far as the volume of sand. So I need to meet with the contractor down there and see where and how we can reconfigure that beach. There's basically a beach that was built from Middle Pond 3/4 of the way down to Mr. Malcolmson's property. And then there's a gap where it was not filled in. And then the Far Pond project started at Mr. Malcolmson's rock revetment and went easterly from there. So we're looking to shift some of the sand and equalize the beach and make it a nice, equalized beach all the way along there, and to talk about with the contractor about moving some material in front of Far Pond Road. I was down there on Friday. I was down there on Wednesday. I watch the wave action from the southeast literally eat up the sand with the high tides. So it's a real tough area to make the material stay there. Being that said, I am going to meet with a contractor, like I said, the first day I can get everything, all the stars aligned.
Ed, the stars seem to be aligning. There's a possibility to meet tomorrow. Is that work for you?
I haven't talked to Chesterfield. I was gonna give them a call after our meeting.
thought
here.
Well,
Chester-
the new county contractor has the ability to meet tomorrow. The current people that have the contract, they can
H&L.
meet tomorrow.
Well,
They
it's-
also
H&L.
meet tomorrow.
Yeah, they're not gonna be using they're gonna be using a bulldozer, so it would be something that Chesterfield still has the county bid on, I believe.
All right, well, if you can take a look at or have the comptroller's office take a look at that, because there
Yeah.
is the possibility for H&L to be out tomorrow to look at that. There's a
All right.
possibility because they're gonna come out and look at the Carter project. So they are coming out tomorrow. So to have them slide over and meet with you down there won't be a stretch at all. So if you take a look at that, there's the possibility for as soon as tomorrow to have a conversation with somebody. Take a look
Just
at your
gotta get the-
schedule.
Get the tide in the right, it needs to be a low tide. You can't get down there otherwise.
Right, so I think he's scheduling to come out sometime late in the day tomorrow. So take a look and see
Yep,
if
I
it
will,
works.
I'll definitely work on that after the meeting here.
All right.
Well, the,
Hey, Andrew's next.
wait, let me finish. Okay, so, yes, it erodes away rather quickly, and that's the whole point of why we spent, as homeowners, a considerable amount of money on about as expert consultants you can get to come up with a plan and to determine, what is now the plan. You know that, we don't have to discuss it, and you have a copy of the latest consultant's report. And if my understanding is correct, you guys have hired InterScience Research to now hopefully they don't even have to come up with a long-term solution because it's been handed to them, but to then do what they do, which is, to make it happen. So, until then, for sure, you're right. You're going to keep moving sand and you're going to short-term save the end of the road and hopefully restore our access, which is what you keep promising us, that our access to the beach. We now have a beautiful beach from the Middle Pond Channel to east of the rock revetment. We still can't get to it though. And that's, what
Excuse me for 1 minute. Excuse me for 1 minute. Charles, can you let Eric in, please? I'm sorry to interrupt.
So what is the status? Can you explain the role of InterScience Research that you've now hired and, what is the status on it?
I have not seen your plan that you're talking about. I've heard it mentioned several times, so I would have to.
I emailed it to you. I'll re-email it to you now. It's
I
not a
have
problem.
never received it, Jill. If I had, I would be able to have it right in front of me and reference it, so I cannot reference it as of right now.
Okay, I'll re-email it. After our meeting in person, I emailed every trustee. the
James
Can you
plan.
has
send it to, can you send it to my office to James, and he will send it out to everybody?
Yeah, I
Right,
think
and-
James does have it. I think he also sent it over to InterScience, I believe, if I recall, James. Is that right, James?
Yeah, I believe I sent it to everybody as well. All the
got it.
trustees should have an email.
Let's get Eddie a copy.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
I know we
Can you
have
do
it.
that?
I'll re-forward it, yeah.
And as far as the access at high tide, I've been on, Mr. Malcolm's property, low tide, high tide. Unfortunately, the height of his rock revetment is such that you cannot access the beach east of that, even with the amount of sand that was placed there from the dredging. There's still like a 6 or 7 foot sheer drop. So, unless Mr. Malcolmson or the property owner at that residence is willing to put some kind of access steps off of his property, which we have not discussed yet. I have not brought that up to him, and we have not discussed that internally. It's going to be very difficult to access that only basically at low tide.
No, you were going to rebuild in the sand in front of the rocks from the end of the road and going east. never was stated before that now we're not going to do that. That was everything. We were going to rebuild everything, and it was going to be, and if you move the channel west in the long term, then nature will allow the continual rebuilding. But we've been having this discussion for years, Ed. No one, this is a whole new statement you're making now. It was never
It's
stated
not
before.
Jill, I recognize that each time we move sand there, that it only lasts for a few months. And I mean, the reality is that, the bay is rising at these times, and these storms are getting more intense. And, basically you're looking to fill in the intertidal zone, which is a real heavy lift. In front of that rock revetment where you want to place the sand, it's basically at high tide, there's 2 or 3 feet of water. So you're looking at a major, I mean, I've watched this over the years. And yes, there was once a beach there. There is no longer a beach there. And I don't know if we can get a beach back there that will stay because of the elevation drop in that beach, the whole entire beach. I mean, I'm willing to work with a contractor to bring sand around and manipulate the beach in the best we can. But both times, and I said it was going to be a learning experience. I said it was going to be something that we're going to have to, work on every year. And that's the reality of it. I mean, basically that beach has lost hundreds of cubic yards of material, and we're trying to bring it back to where it was in the 60s and 70s. And I don't know if that could be done. I mean, I'm willing to try it and work with the contractor and the homeowners. We're also talking it to the county about having them to amend their permit to move the channel to the west further, which we've asked and sent a letter to them and a resolution that the board passed unanimously. So these are all things that take time, and then we have to work and have conversations. And I've been doing it ever since I got involved down there. Since I've been a trustee, I've been doing projects down there, trying to get a better beach, to keep the beach there longer. And sometimes, Mother Nature dictates what happens. It's beyond our control, but I'm not done working there, and I don't think the board is.
Okay, so in response, first of all, we've had this discussion before, 60s and 70s, 90s, okay? 90s, we had acres and acres of land here. We had complete, so it wasn't, you can't go back that far. At 90s, 2000, I can still access the beach. This has been not, going back too far. I'd like to, if I could, then I'd love to get a copy of the letter that you sent to Suffolk County so we could see it and understand what it is that you're requesting from them. That would be great. In terms of we've had 2 consultants, right? One is the expert that you guys like, Rob Young, and one is Mark Burns of First Coastal. And both supposedly the coastal erosion experts in the country, right? Both have described a situation that they said is completely fixable, that the cause of this, yes, we have global warming, we have but we also have man-made, and they have all, and InterScience said this to you too, they have all pointed to the fact that because the channel has migrated so far east, we've caused erosion pressure on the end of end of the road and west of that. Because the rock revetment was allowed, the original one, you saw a rapid deterioration. And because now the new rock revetment was put in parallel to the shoreline, we see even a faster erosion. But the solution, because we recognize that the rock revetments are in and you're not taking them out, we recognize, and you want to, I understand Mr. Malcolmson's position too, but we have a solution. And the solution isn't really that difficult based on the coastal erosion experts. I repeat, I defer to experts. And if you can read the report, and you've had Rob Young explain the same thing to you. So this isn't just global warming.
I agree. And I think our Eric Schultz, our president, has made it clear that this project is going to probably be done in different parts of it. And as we learn from the placement of the rocks, the placement of the sand, and the projects that are done, how best to shape that rock revetment to cause the minimal amount of erosion on either side of it. That's what that's where we're doing. And I made it very clear that this isn't something that's going to be fixed in one placement of rocks or one placement of sand. It's going to be an ongoing issue, and we're going to have to work with it and tweak it as we see to make it work. I mean, if I had all the answers, or if our board had back in the 90s or 80s when this was put in, had the foresight of seeing what was going to happen here, they might not have approved it. I don't know. I wasn't on the board at that time, but we're
I think
dealing
Ed's
with
having problems with his feed there.
we're dealing with a problem that has been caused by a hardened structure, yes, and we're trying to figure out how best to manipulate it and work with it. I mean, like I said, I spend a lot of time down there on that end of the bay, and I look at it and I try to, think about solutions, working with Jim Walker, working with Rob Young, working with Mr. Burns. And there are papers and there are recommendations, and we will, as we go forward, we will interject some of those plans into the, into the situation, and hopefully have some good mitigation done.
Okay, well, just, if you can then please just tell me, what is the status of the resolution that you passed and the hiring of InterScience Research and the having them start on this long-term solution that supposedly is what the resolution was stated for?
Well, the resolution was for the county to asking them to reconfigure the channel. That was one resolution. The other one was a discussion. Once I see your consultant's plans, I will sit with Jim Walker and go over what was permitted by the trustees through Jim Walker's consulting business, and the proposal that Mr. Burns has given you as far as his expertise, and see if we can come up with a better solution than what is presently there.
Okay, and can we get a copy of the correspondence that you've already sent to
The county?
Suffolk County? Yeah, that'd be great, because then, I
Yes,
could talk with Andrew Walker.
Yes, it's already been, I believe it's been sent out. I mean, I'm sure, I know it was, so you can have a copy of that.
All right, so how do I do that?
Just get a FOIL for a request from my office, so you can go through the Freedom of Information Act. Everything is
Okay.
done legitimately and no one can question it. And then I'll make sure that our office gets it over to you, okay?
Okay,
I see we have a hand, but Andrew is next.
Got it.
So,
Can you hear me?
well, do we,
And Andrew Tarika, 19 Far Pond Road. Jill covered most of the stuff that I wanted to discuss, but is it still the intention to move the spoils back to behind the rock revetment as originally planned? I know when we did that dredge in September, there was discussion about putting it immediately in the right place, and it was decided to put it east of the revetment and then bring it back when it's settled. People were questioning whether that was the right strategy, but is it still the intention? I know you talked earlier about it needing to be low tide. Well, tomorrow, when whoever is coming down, it's going to be high tide. I think it's high tide at 4:45 tomorrow.
Yeah, that has been my problem with each time trying to meet with the contractor, and the storms and the election and everything else. It's been like the perfect storm, unfortunately, but it needs to be low tide to meet with a contractor to go over.
He could get there earlier for you, Eddie. We could shift up, where,
Yeah.
we got to go see Carter. So we
Yeah,
could shift up if you're talking midday or something.
Yeah, let's talk about this after the meeting, so I got times and
Got
I
it.
can schedule my
Got it.
day.
So when we discussed this back in August at the last meeting, I think the numbers that we discussed were like 10 to 15,000 out of Middle Pond and like 5,500 out of Far Pond. So are you saying that the aggregate of both of those was only about 5,000?
No, about 10,000, I believe. It was 5,000. The permit that the county was working under was 5,000 for each one of the projects, Far and Middle Pond. So it'd be about 10,000 cumulatively out of the two of them. That was the permit that the DEC and the Army Corps gave them to work in September under.
Got it. So I think we all agree that the long-term solution to this, and the only one that's going to be effective and lasting, is moving the channel west. I mean, in our conversations with the DEC and Andrew Walker, they're very supportive of this. The consultants that we've spent money on and hired, and you spent money on and hired, are supportive of this. And I believe Jim Walker at InterScience will be very supportive of this, as will Malkinson. It seems like a win-win for everybody to move this channel west, whether it's where it was in 1960, 210 feet, or wherever that point is. But once we do that, we won't have this dredging and then Mother Nature taking it away in a month, and you're just blowtorching money doing these dredges. So I applaud the trustees for the resolution from, that came out of our last meeting. I congratulate you all on re-election, so we have some continuity and don't have to start over again. But I feel like we can make some real progress in the short term that will be a long-term solution. And we are here to just help and do anything that we can, whether it's with our relationship with the DEC or all the other parties to be. But it seems like we could get this done if everybody just cooperated. And all parties that we speak to individually are all individually very supportive of this. So we all would like to see it happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest lift as far as moving the channel is meeting with the county, having them agree to it, and then having them contact their consultant, and then having new plans drawn that would reflect the channel shift to the west, and hopefully have the DEC and Army Corps and everybody agree that putting back the channel where it was, I'm going to say in the 70s on the west side would be the appropriate thing to do. I mean, we're all in for this because we think it's a good idea. We see what's happening, but we also need the other people to say, in the permitting part of it, to say, yes, this is a good idea and we'll give you a permit, but we need plans drawn. And that, and that would be hiring their consultant back to redraw the plans. And I have had a couple conversations with the dredging people at the county, which is something that we'll do internally, hopefully, that we're all reelected, and their dredging program is up and running probably around the first of the year when we got time to sit down. Hopefully we can sit down in person and not having these Zoom meetings, and have a constructive, have a constructive conversation, have some plans preliminarily drawn up by Jim Walker and InterScience to give to the county, showing that what we want, so that they know that they got a specific site plan that we think would work the best, and hopefully their consultant will follow through and make an amendment to their permit.
Got it. Thank you.
All right. I think Darren is next, and then Andrea after Darren.
Hi, this is, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
This is Darren Baggard. Thank you guys again. I understand this is an ongoing issue. And Ed, thank you so much for going down there so often, looking at it. My one question is specifically to your comment in this meeting. I remember a prior meeting where I believe specifically the permit from Malkinson to rebuild that rock revetment was frankly so that we had access to the prior beach, which now you're saying is absolutely not possible. And I'm pretty sure, and I'll go back and rewatch the recordings of the meetings, but that seemed like it was such an important element for allowing that rock revetment to be rebuilt. I understand the channel is a separate issue, but knowing that the beach at the end of the road, we know it's eroding and we're trying to fix that long term, but the other beach is so gorgeous, and that should be a public beach that we have access to, especially, I mean, anyone, not just those of us living on Far Pond or Middle Pond. But I'm quite sure I thought that was contingent, whether we had an easement to get there, whether it be a path, walking on the rocks, low tide. And now it seems like all of a sudden that you mentioned that was never going to happen. And I'm just curious to know how we got to that end result, because I believe that was always the intention, even in the permit, that I thought that was access.
That was my intention, to get the public access to that beach. And then that's why when we did the dredging at a Far Pond, it literally got pumped right on Mr. Malcolmson's rock revetment. And then we worked our way east to build up the elevation of the beach. But unfortunately, the beach is so narrow there, even by building that elevation up, it wasn't high enough to get off the rock revetment safely. I've been there multiple times in this year and in previous years, and over time, that rock revetment, I would say, hasn't gotten higher, the beach has gotten lower. So building up the sand, in my mind, I thought maybe we could accumulate enough sand there so we could get safe access off his rock revetment. As of right now, that did not happen. That beach was only built up about 3 feet, maybe 4 feet, and there's still like a 5 foot or 6 foot drop there. So
I know, but if you look at the
having-
survey where the rock revetment was built, shouldn't it have been incorporated that there was an easement to allow people to get over to that beach? I thought that was in correlation. You know, there was such an issue even getting this rock revetment. I was at every single, you know, in person years ago talking about should Malcolmson do this, not do this, and it was approved at the end of the day, one reason or the other. But I really thought it was contingent on having access to that beach. And it seems
Yeah.
like if the rock revetment had not been built, that frankly, at least I could have gotten over there at low tide, even by foot. And I've only lived in my property now by like 2001. So I'm just surprised that it seems like now there's no fixing or even trying to understand how we can have access to that beautiful beach where the spoil, you know, was put for so many years from Middle Pond.
Yeah, there is a 5 foot passing way on the top of that rock revetment, but it basically leads to a dead end on the east side. That's the problem. And if the rock revetment wasn't there, there was a bulkhead underneath there back in the 60s. So whether it's that rock revetment or its predecessor, the bulkhead, it would have taken away the access eventually. I'm trying to work with the community, Mr. Malcolmson, and it's, I don't think it's something
Going on
that
in 1 minute. I need 10 minutes, but
something that we can say just to, you have to put a steps down there. There's liability. And I've had discussions with my attorney, Sean Cambridge, and to come up with a perfect fix, it's going to take, you know, a creative solution. And I'm willing to work for this. That's why I'm here, and that's why I put so much
Well,
time
that's
into this.
I'm not putting you on the spot. I just want to just say on the record, as long as you're not saying that we'll never have access to it, then it's fine, because we always went down this road that the hope was we were going to have access, and I believe the permit said there would be access. So I'm just asking that we try to do a little more due diligence and not just say there'll never be access. That's all. I appreciate
I'm working on it. There is access on low and middle tide, but at high tide, the access is right now is non-existent.
Right.
I've been
I
down
can't
there.
get there even at low tide, but I know I'm not putting you on the spot. I appreciate all your help. I really do. Thank you.
But I'm willing to work for a solution. That's why I put so much time and energy into this project. And, you know, it's like our trustee Schultz said, it's not something that's going to be fixed with one project. It might take a few
Absolutely.
projects. So, and I think holistically, we're working on it. And I hope that it comes, you know, sooner than later. Okay.
No, we just have a gorgeous beach that only 3 people have access to, which live on that island. So, all right. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Andrea,
hi, Scott, I'm very mindful that you have 5 minutes. You need to go into executive session. So I want to stay within hopefully my 3 minutes. One very short thing and one thing that's longer. So I want to see what I can do about the longer thing. The short thing is I want to thank you again for agreeing to take down those trees on our road. You approved that. I know it was a tough vote for, and thank you for acknowledging public safety concerns. They came on November 8th. They took down, I think it was 16 trees. I don't have the exact count. I didn't count as they were working. And we were very appreciative because you know what happened a couple days later, an enormous storm blew through and there's a lot of branches down. There's an enormous one like in someone's driveway, just like right where you guys were working. So your public safety concern was very valid and so appreciated. So I just want to thank you again for actually, you know, taking that vote, doing that work so quickly. We're very appreciative. The other thing is, and I don't know if Sean is on and whether Sean's who I should work with or someone else, whether it's you, Scott, or your office. We have some ongoing issues on the road. It's a very big discussion. It's complicated, and I get that. Now that the election is over, people are in their seats. We know who's in the highway seat. We know who's in the town seat. We know who's in trustee seats. Can we actually, you know, have a meeting to talk about what is a plan for our road? I know you've got legal research about whether you even should still own our road or take responsibility for our road. We have, you know, we want some traffic signs up. That's complicated. We want some fire thoughts put against our road. That's complicated. So I think I maybe have 30 seconds left. Who can I work with and reach out to? Is this a path? Can we have a meeting, or do I have to keep coming on public portions and become an agenda item? I don't know how the government rules
Well,
work in
I mean,
terms of what needs to be
realistically,
recorded as such.
realistically, because like you said, we got 5 minutes. Yeah, the elections happen and some of us, are going to be returning, but realistically, some of the folks are not really going to be seated till the new year. So really, we have to kind of wait, we have a direction, we have some serious problems that we do want to resolve, but we're going to need the new people that are in there also to be on board and working with us. So we're a little bit premature. We've been working on this for a while. We're going to keep working on it, but realistically, we do need the new highway superintendent to be seated. We have a new trustee coming on board as President Schultz is retiring after 48 or 50 years of public service.
Congratulations and thank you, Mr. Schultz.
We do have a little bit of time to bide here. We do have a little, some things that we do have to get through. Obviously, the proof's in the pudding. Your concerns haven't fallen on deaf ears, and the trustees have endeavored in the interest of public safety and everybody's concerns to resolve the matter. But you're right, it is a complex matter and it does take a lot. There's a lot of moving parts. So let's continue the conversation. We all know what's going on. Let's wait for the new folks to get seated, the town board level, the highway superintendent level, and then let's perhaps see at that point if we can set up some type of breakout committee collaboration, Zoom type meeting, and then take it more focused just on that. So I think that's a sensible thing to do.
Thank you. The one thing I want to offer up is that I am willing to do an in-person meeting should health considerations allow that under whatever the current town and county rules are. And the other thing is, do we need to wait for that to even talk about a stop sign? If we do, we do. It's been a long time, but if we need
stop
to wait for
signs,
that.
I don't think are the purview of this board at all. I don't think
Okay.
stop signs are not purview.
Yeah.
Sean McDonald can chime in on that, but I don't think it's this board's purview.
Yeah,
No,
I think we're gonna parse out what we can and can't do. I mean, a signage, we could put a stop sign there, but then the town code would have to adopt certain rules and regulations on that road so that it's enforceable. There's a whole protocol for each thing that goes on. And I
Okay.
think signage, whether it's speed or stopping, yielding, would, can be placed there, but we need the town to memorialize, the enforcement of it.
I saw Sean pop on there for a second. I think he wanted to say something.
Yes, this board cannot put a stop sign. The highway superintendent would have to be involved in that. This is definitely an appropriate meeting to have in January.
Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
Let's let it go with that. Otherwise, you're just going to be spinning your wheels. You might as well
Yeah,
enjoy
I
your
guess
holiday.
my goal would be to have something maybe up by May when it starts getting really crowded again. So I recognize we have some.
You have Thanksgiving. You know what? Thankfully, we were able to resolve the one issue expeditiously.
Yes.
So I think you should enjoy your holidays with your family. And then let's reconvene when the proper people are in the proper seats, and then we can be more productive. Okay.
Thank you.
Andrea,
These
as
board-
has been the situation, as has been the situation in the past, it'll continue. There'll be a long-term conversation and then some short ones, so we can be in touch and
Thank
see
you,
what we
Ann.
can
And if
do.
you're willing to make another call to the police, one of my neighbors, contacted me this, Saturday. She was almost hit by a truck again. So she called the police and we still have seen nobody. So I don't know. I know we're a little street, but I'm afraid that there's going to be an accident and we would, that's why I'm trying to just stay present. I know that.
Well, but did you also utilize the SOS system?
Well, we've called the 911 number. We've also called the non-emergency number. And so, because we're a Trustee Road, they start, whatever, I don't know. But in any event, I don't want to take any more time because you have urgency, but I just want to, I want to stay present and keep us top of mind with you because the trucks are still flying. Those that are still here are really flying now. some of them may be, you know, local residents. I mean, I almost got hit by an Escalade yesterday who didn't even stop at the stop sign that was there. So whatever, that's why I just wanted to come on to say, thank you, thank you, thank you for the trees. I look forward to continuing the conversation. I understand it's long-term. Anything that's simple that we can slice off like we did the trees, I look forward to doing that. Anything that's not simple, I look forward to working with you on.
All right, I gotta cut you
Yeah.
off because we're
Look
2
forward.
minutes over the 1:45.
D Schwartz is next.
Okay, thank you.
Well, hold on a second, time out. I thought we had a 1:45.
Yes, we do. Can you hear me, Scott?
Yes,
Okay. 1:45, executive session between us, and then 2 o'clock, executive session with town board supervisor. So I would anticipate about resuming, should adjourn the meeting till probably 2:45.
okay, so
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting till 2:45. We will reconvene
Second.
our general. All
For
in
exec-
favor
Regarding person,
for executive session, discussion of
Regarding-
litigation and personnel.
right.
You have 2 Zoom links. The one that I sent is the one that you're gonna get on right now.
Okay, I'd like to make a resolution that trustees come out of executive session and going back into regular session. Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we're still on public portion now. We were on Far Pond Road. Does anybody else want to talk about Far Pond Road? No? Okay. Anybody want to talk about any other issue for the board?
Funny,
Okay.
I see a lot of
If
people.
anybody,
I
okay.
see a lot of people on, but I don't know if they're really on. Well,
All right,
that's okay.
I'll tell
That's
you
fine.
what, they might be on.
I got a hand now.
All
Okay.
right.
All right. I was going to skip a little bit in anticipation. I've been waiting for a long time. We've been too.
Okay, just you gotta unmute yourself. Gotta unmute.
Make sure you give him 3 minutes, Jessica.
Here.
We can police that. Who's up?
Miss Brody.
The Brody and Tiffany are up.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Let me just. Right. We just
I
wanted to
guess
bring
it's-
you back to the site.
I think
We're
we're all-
losing you.
Yeah.
New positioning, the line. It would fly back.
You gotta start
Now,
over.
this is the post.
Uh,
Start over.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Tiffany Gavin, 53 Cliff Drive. We're in Arlene Road.
Brody, 61 Cliff Drive.
We are at 65 Cliff Drive landslide. And this is the post that we were using as a marker to show how much the land has eroded.
Uh-huh.
And it's about 16 feet from that rebar post.
Okay.
The area over here, it's continuing to erode and moving toward where the bulkhead would tie into. Just want to show you the height of this material. I know this is not probably how you guys measure it, but it's continuing to erode over here. And can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, it's about 40 inches. Yeah, if you could just hold that. It's like 40 inches. The tide's coming back in. But it's, you could see over here, this is all new runoff. So as it's continuing to erode, it's moving further into the canal.
It's a plume of sand.
It's what?
It's a plume of sand moving into the canal. Basically, it's,
So it's continuing to move. And if we go down here, this is about from the bulkhead at the Brody property, from here to the 20, that's how far is sand. 20 feet. So when they're proposing the 45 cubic yards based on a visual data by a bulkhead installer, when Aram of First Coastal is providing fiber core samples and data to support this, the sheer size of this, it would be 111 cubic yards based on just the property. So we're very far apart with this. And again, I think Aram's going to come on and speak of the findings. I just wanted you to see it's continuing to change and it's getting worse over time. Look at it over here. More and more stuff is unearthed. It's disgraceful. Cinder blocks, bricks, rebar. This wall. And there's that post, Mr. Schultz.
Okay. Well, you don't have any more erosion landward of the silt fence. You're just redepositing the fill in front of the silt fence.
It definitely could be that, but I just want to impress upon the cubic yardage that they should have to prove with surveyors, not somebody taking a visual peek, an estimation of opinion. We provided actual information based on fiber cores and at our own expense.
Well, that's why what I was saying is that the measurement on a cubic yard calculation on a permit is kind of irrelevant because the fill was going to be placed behind the bulkhead, and that's why we put in that the channel had to be at least 1 foot deep by 12 foot. So, I mean, one calculation that's going to be important is the physical depth and width that's going to result in everything, which is going to get water flow into the canal.
It's absolutely what you guys are trying to do is fantastic. And I know you're all very supportive, gentlemen, of remediating this and getting water flowing back and having a healthy environment here. I just want to see if you could communicate with the DEC and just impress upon them again, the reality, not what I foiled the property again. And when I was reading through what the attorney's letter is saying, if they're creating a false narrative of it's 45 cubic yards, maybe the DEC is going to say, okay, well, this is what they're saying, it's 45 cubic yards. So I don't know if that's something you could communicate with the DEC to make.
Yeah, I've been in communication with the DEC. The DEC has acknowledged the fact that they've received the application for the bulk. Okay, and it was done before the time frame that we requested them to do so on the permit.
Excellent. Is there anything that
However,
you want to, however,
well,
I hate
the
howevers.
what is that the DEC, as you recall, was reluctant to get involved in this from the very first, and been pressed for almost a year to do something. And now that we've included them in the mix, now they're coming up with all kinds of other suggestions. And we met down on site with them and we discussed, a height of the bulkhead. And that if there was an area where there was, that there was a vegetation that had to be inundated, that some of the staves could be removed here and there to provide the salt water from going back and forth and nourishing those wetlands. And now they're talking, now the last conversation was they were talking about soil size, sediment analysis, and another application for dredging, and a low sill bulkhead instead of a regular bulkhead. And we have to really have a discussion with them. And this just came in actually Friday, so I haven't had a chance today. We've been out since 7 o'clock this morning doing
He
stuff.
said they'll be available the next couple of days to have a conversation. Is the
Yeah, we're
start
gonna
of
have
the
that
conversation.
conversation. They want to get this off their plate, yet they are now imposing more and more regulations and stipulations on this thing.
Well, they're taking a harder look at it now. So it's, again, process.
Yeah.
I understand the process, and the size of the grain sand is probably the 90% where it's supposed to be. This material was never checked for anything
I know.
before allowing it to slip into this canal. Like, I know I'm like repeating the same things and you guys are like fatigued and exhausted by this. I just simply wanted to come on and just show you it's not getting better. It's getting much, much worse. The application from the bulkhead installer, in May, he estimated 45 cubic yards. In October, he's estimated 36. So maybe in another 6 months, he'll estimate 20 cubic.
Well, it's irrelevant because irrelevant because he has to fill that bulkhead up to a certain height, whether it takes 10 yards or 200 yards, and reestablish that channel. So he can put any number he wants. Because
Okay.
in the end, unless you have somebody down with 5-gallon buckets measuring each thing, is he going to take out exactly 43? I mean, it's usually just an estimate.
Mr.
So
Schultz, do
we
we
can
have,
change a permit.
do we have a time frame on this bulkhead? Because this land, they've just put this up for sale now.
It's a state.
It's the state.
That's going to be the other regulatory authorities.
Who have indicated that they want to get this done as soon as possible. So
you're going to have to ask them.
Appreciate that.
Okay.
And then,
And when they get their permit, then we will be telling them that what time frame we want them to go into, because this is still a very open for interpretation permit on our side that allows for further erosion control.
is he freezing up?
Action by type of permit where it's cut dry. It leaves a lot of flexibility.
Right,
So once we get that, once we determine what the state wants, then we can adjust our permit if we want to that, and then we can go from there.
Aram's going to have to bring whatever information he has to the state.
I believe Aram did forward
We can't, when they come to us and they want to collaborate, we'll be more than happy to do that. But right now, we've issued a permit. The ball's in their court to do what they got to do. And if we have to make a modification, we can talk about that. But right now, they've got to do their part.
And then
Right.
what did you guys work out with conservation, with the covenances?
We didn't work anything out. That's them. That's Madeline Venjon. That's their responsibility. They've apparently applied or they're off in that direction. But again, that's not going to be us. That's going to be.
They did make application to the conservation board.
They did. Okay. I didn't see that application in the FOIL. So that's why I'm questioning that. I saw the bulkhead permit in the FOIL.
Well, who'd you foil? Us or who'd you foil? Them?
Trustees.
But that's not under the trustees. That's going to go to the town. That's
The
conservation.
town, yeah.
So I would have
Conservation
to
board.
FOIL
Well,
there.
It's a separate, totally
Okay.
separate.
I'll have one of the staff members ask where it is in the pipeline right now. Okay. I'll get off the board, off the meeting for a minute.
Okay. All right, congratulations on your reelection, gentlemen. Well deserved.
Thank you.
Exciting. I think Aram's on. Okay, that's it. Did you need to see anything down there? No?
We don't. If we need to go there, we'll go.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
Have a good afternoon.
You.
Stay warm.
You too. Have a good Thanksgiving.
You too. You too. Who else? Who else is coming on?
I don't see any other hands.
No other hands? All right, so there's no more,
But I got Aram. wants
oh,
to
you got
say
Aram.
something. Yeah, 1 second.
Okay, hang on for a minute. Just talked to James, and James said that Sean just sent him an email. Or maybe James, you can elaborate on it.
Yeah, Sean sent an email that there's a modification that was submitted to the Conservation Board wetlands permit. And it says that the modification is sought to modify the terms of the declaration, covenants and restrictions that was required to be filed as a condition of the Conservation Board wetlands permit, CB 19054. This permit required removal of pre-existing bulkhead despite the fact that this bulkhead was permitted by and under the jurisdiction of the Southampton Town Trustees. Covenants and restrictions must be modified to permit the construction of a replacement bulkhead and allow the reclamation dredging within areas under the trustee jurisdiction.
Right. It's my understanding that was just scanned in while we're on this meeting. So give it some time, file a FOIL request, and that should be available.
Yeah, it was stamped in on November 3rd.
Okay, so just to clarify, my contention with the DEC and the conversation is going to revolve around, the point is now they want a low sill bulkhead. Point is, it was a functioning bulkhead in the first place. If they came into the DEC and applied for reconstruction of a functional bulkhead, they would have not only given it to them, but they would have given them an 18-inch rise if they wanted to. So to now, because this was taken out illegally, now they're trying to now treat it as it was never a bulkhead there in the first place. So I think that that's going to be the crux of the conversation. You need to retain this fill adequately like it had been retained before, or taken away and establish that channel. Okay, so, all right, so we can't really add too much more to this until we have the conversation.
Where was Aram?
Because I just
Was
sent
Aram
this.
coming in?
Yeah, I'm right here. I just very briefly, I'll just tell you that I forwarded my information to the DEC and recommended that the area that was impacted be dredged to -1 because that's what my analysis showed was the pre-existing depth. So the DEC is in possession of that information.
Okay, and that's what we put in our permit. I don't know whether you saw our permit.
I did, thank you.
Okay.
It was sent to me by your very efficient staff.
Okay. Yes, okay, good. So we're waiting on them right now, and we'll find out where it is in the pipeline. I'll talk to the president of the Conservation Board and ask him to move this thing along. Okay.
Okay.
We have one other person.
Okay, go ahead.
Joe Velarde.
Okay.
He was on there for a second. Joe, start your video.
It's okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
There you go.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, it's Joe Velarde, 53 Cliff Drive. I was going to ask a question and Mrs. Schultz kind of answered, I think. I was just curious as to how we can pressure help to move along the Conservation Board to get the covenants changed, because I don't see it seems to me that they've been kind of fighting this all along, and why would they change it? So we would, my question was, how could we help that process?
Well, we'll find out when it's scheduled to be put on, and then you people can appear at their meeting if there's any questions on it. Okay, and there's nothing, stopping from, sending inquiries to the Conservation Board when this is going to be put on, request that it be put on as soon as possible. Yeah.
Okay.
Because,
All right,
we
thank you.
done our due diligence now and issued the permit. We need the other agencies to now be pressured in order to, and be kept on the mark to get this thing moving.
Okay. All right,
Okay.
thanks.
Okay, thanks.
That's it.
Anybody else?
Hold the hands.
Okay, good. Let's get into this here. Oh, boy. Okay.
Hello?
North Sea CAC, Strong's Marina, Bill Pell.
We're gonna put that off.
Okay, then let's do the applications for permits, waiving the public hearing because all of these didn't raise a significant degree of public interest or public input. First item is trustee resolution 2021-282. This is a renewal application of Jimmy Rocco LLC. I make the motion.
Second.
Ed seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Next one is 2021-283. This is renewal application of M&J Plaza Corporation, 624 Dune Road. I make the motion to be approved.
Second.
Bill, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Next one is 2021-284. This is the renewal application of Solomon Adams, 614 Dune Road.
Second.
Renewal. Bill, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next one is 2021-285. Timothy Squires, P.O. Box 1212, West Hampton Beach. It's a renewal. First of Michael Labradorf of 612 Dune Road. Make the motion. Bill, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next is 2021-286. Eugenio Presta, 626 Dune Road. That's a general permit. That was the living shoreline. Make a motion to be approved.
Second.
Second.
Favor? Aye.
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 Next one, 2021-287. Credit Shelter Trust, LW&T, G Bonanno, 628 Dune Road. This is a short, living short one. Make a motion to be approved.
Second.
Bill seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Trustee resolution 2021-288, application of David Hunt, 80 Point Mecox Lane, Bridgehampton, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-134-1-10, body of water, Swan Creek. Like to recommend its approval.
Second.
Scott seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Ed.
I don't have it up. I can't get it up on my phone.
Got trustee
Can,
resolution 2021-289, the application of Craig Grebin, 13 Windmere Close, Hampton Bays, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-322-4-1.007 on Wells Creek.
Second.
I'll second it.
Bill seconded, all in favor?
Aye. He's got trustee resolution 2021-290, land use ecological for the application of Hampton Bays Water District at 49 Lighthouse Road, Hampton Bays, New York. Tax map 900-374-2-2 and 275 Dune Road, Hampton Bays, New York, Suffolk County Tax map number 900-395-1-2. Body of water is Shinnecock Bay.
And we're also,
Project.
Can I waive?
we're also
the,
waiving
fees?
the fees.
Yes.
Yeah, it's listed in here that any and all
Okay.
fees shall be deemed waived as applicant is a governmental authority undertaking said project for
Second.
preservation of public access to waterways.
Thanks,
Okay,
Scott.
Bill seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Now he's got trustee resolution 2021-291. It's a renewal application It's the first renewal of MH Ocean View LLC, 30 Ocean View Drive, Shinnecock Hills, New York. Tax map number 0900-271-1-41. It's a first renewal. I recommend we renew it.
Second.
Bill seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Got trustee resolution 2021-292. Application for PMSH Marina LLC, 6 TP Street, Hampton Bays, New York, Suffolk County, tax map number 900-230-1-32.002. It's an extensive application for floating docks and finger floats at the Prime Marina location.
Second.
Ed seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Bill,
Bill, you're up.
293. Uh-oh. Are you,
You all right?
He's there.
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm up.
I just had something.
Okay.
My daughter came in to get the dog.
I thought it was Morgan's crackers.
No, I had a doggy daycare here. Sorry about that. Trustee resolution 2021-293. The first renewal for Rams Island 3 LLC, 45 Ram Island, Tuckahoe, New York. Tax map 900-109-1-3 body of water, Savannah Creek.
Second.
Ed seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We got resolution 2021-294, application of WHB 43 Shore Road LLC, 43 Shore Road, West Hampton, New York. I think this is yours, Eric, but
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah,
It's just within the wrong, that's all.
yeah, I
That's,
got you.
It replaces that boat, it was that replacement of that boathouse that was pre-existing with the new,
Right, 14 by 18 on new 12-inch pilings, reconstruct in place 4-foot by 138-foot walkway on treated wood only to be used, open grate decking to be used. Recommend its approval.
Second.
Bill seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next one is 2021-295. This is Village Marine. This was that low sill bulkhead in the marina there, so I recommend its approval.
Second on that one.
Okay, Ed seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Got 2021-176. Again, it's the home rule message, which we've tabled about 100 times.
Got to get on this now that the senator has some more time, so we'll see if we can get something next week or the week after, okay?
All right.
Sounds
well,
good.
Yeah,
Okay.
we
all
need
right,
that really
so,
bad.
So you're gonna make
Yeah,
it,
so, but
go ahead.
I guess I have to table this again for today, though.
Yes, okay.
Second.
Ed seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next one, 2021-281. I make a lot regarding that. I want to make a motion to recall and amend that resolution. Do I have a second?
Hey, Eric. Do you really want to do
Need to
that?
change it.
Do you really want to do it?
Oh, yes, you have to recall and amend the original one there to put in substitution one. Remember?
Okay, all right.
The first
you got it.
one added
Sorry about
additional
that.
language.
You got a
Okay.
second on you?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. A little bit of wording on that. Now, I'm gonna read the one that we had talked about here. Resolved that pursuant to the authority granted to the trustees and duly executed stipulation of settlement dated February 14th, 1994, between the trustees of the freeholders and commonality of the town of Southampton and the town of Southampton, the trustees recommend Jessica Feldman to the position of chief of staff at an annual salary of $80,000 effective immediately, subject to all applicable civil service requirements. And be it further resolved, the town controller is authorized to make all budgetary and accounting entries necessary to execute. Financial impact net is none. Any questions on the motion? Any comments on anything like that?
Comment would be that Jessica has been a very diligent employee. She stepped up to the plate in a very adverse worldwide pandemic situation with a very understaffed office with people that were having their own health issues, COVID and non-COVID related. And I think that she really has done a fabulous job for the people of the town of Southampton. I feel that that entire staff is a great staff. Morale is very high, a lot of compliments. And I believe that this board was able to be productive in a very difficult time. And I think a lot of that is because we had such quality employees. The town of Southampton, the freeholders had such quality employees like Jessica Feldman. And I think that her change of her title and her raise, I think, is long overdue. I think she's earned it. I think that she was working well above and beyond for the people of this town. And we're very grateful, especially in a time where it's hard to get good employees and you have traffic issues and all kinds of other issues surrounding, retaining and maintaining good staff. It's a very, very different type of a detail-oriented job working for the trustees. It's anything but typical. And to have somebody that has the expertise and the dedication and the drive and the ability to train people and the ability to work through adverse conditions like Jessica, I think that we've all been very, very fortunate. And it's paying tremendous dividends for the town, and I think will continue to pay tremendous dividends for the people of this town by retaining her in a position where she could really, thrive. And anyone that works with her and learns from her, it's a terrific benefit. And I fully recommend support of this resolution.
Thank
Now,
you so much.
Now, the town's position is that they, being that they're employees in the town, we do have a stipulation of settlement that can be interpreted different ways, but we're putting in this resolution to recommend hiring Jessica because basically she is the glue that holds this office together. The morale has never been better in the office, and instrumental in putting through a lot of cutting edge new technology. Case in point is the e-permitting system that we had in place before this pandemic took place. And while everybody in the town was scrambling to deal with COVID and how they were going to issue permits, we had it all in place, and they were all coming down to us to find out how it was supposed to be, how we did it. So that's just one issue. She's been handling the duck permit situation, financials, and been quite adept at writing the minutes, which are vitally important to look up in cases where we're in court with things. So, I wholeheartedly recommend her for this position.
I like to say that knowing Jessica for the past 4 years, she's taken on duties and tasks, everything that we've asked her as far as the trustee board, the 5 individuals. She's learned the office well. She is a shining star in town hall. We should be proud to have her in our office, and she's a real asset to our office, town hall, and to all of our constituents. She's a leader, basically will take on any task, teaches everybody below her skills so that they can all be a well-working, well-oiled machine. I'm proud to basically say that she works for us and that eventually she will get this title and promotion and a salary, which I believe she's well deserved. She's been doing her job as well as helping out with Lisa Dunlap with her issues, health issues in the office. So Jessica, you're well deserved this. And if need be, I will speak before the town board and advocate for you for this position. I think you deserve it. And it's something that you will grow and flourish in. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like just to enforce what Scott and Eric and Ed said. I can't wait for her to get in her new office in the back there. She's well deserved it. And I think she'll do an excellent job.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jessica.
Thank you.
Jess, it's an honor to make this recommendation to the town board for your appointment. Thank you for everything you've been doing and will continue to do.
Thank you all so much. It's an honor and a privilege to serve you and the town of Southampton, and this means a lot to me, and I really appreciate it. And I look forward to working with all of you and continuing that.
Makes my job easier too.
Thanks for that, Charles.
So
Thanks,
with
Chuck.
that, I made the,
Next,
resolution. So
Second.
everybody,
I,
Second.
okay, Bill seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey,
Michael.
Jessica, you gonna stay tonight and move in the back?
Maybe tomorrow.
Okay.
I gotta unpack for my honeymoon.
All right,
All right.
moving right along.
2021-296.
We
Budget
got
fund.
the warrant number 2021. It's us paying of our bills. I'll give you the breakdown. Dime Community Bank, 280322. Law offices of Con and Con, $6,930. Coastal Commercial Property, 1920. InterScience, 270-216. Joseph R. Lombardo, Special Counsel, 474125. Otis Ford Inc., 3515. That's $35.15. PSEG Long Island, $51.95. WB Mason, $72.37 for a grand total $16,826.10 vetted through the comptroller. I just recommend we pay our bills.
Seconded.
Second,
It's seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Then we have 2021-297. It's budget time of the year again, and this is about converting our preliminary budget to the operating budget. We have discussed it. We consulted with the comptroller on it. It makes our office run a lot smoother throughout the year as these bills come in and they're vetted through the proper processes. As I have discussed in the past, if we do have to make adjustments as the year goes on, we are well within our solution to make adjustments. And if something major pops up on us, we have fund balance that we can rely on. But this helps us run very smoothly throughout the year, provides proper accountability and transparency. And, I suggest that we pass this budget and move on.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Next one is 2021-298. Set the trustees meeting and work session dates for 2022. And meetings will take place as posted on the town clerk's portal. As we discussed this morning, they're already locked into the boardrooms and to be taped. So I make the
Thank
motion.
you.
Seconded.
Can we call the roll,
Sure.
please?
You ready?
Okay.
President Eric Schultz
Aye.
and Ed J. Warner Jr.,
Yes.
Trustee William Pell IV,
Yes.
and Trustee Ann Welker.
Yes, knowing that if we need to, we can amend this and change it back to the former schedule of Monday and Wednesday meetings. Thank you.
All right, and I'm going to be an aye on this, and obviously we make adjustments as time goes on, because even sometimes we have to call special meetings, as you're all aware,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Okay, so motion
Trust-
carries.
Trustee Resolution 2021-299. This is notice of public hearing on removal of co-permittee Richard K. Kelly on waterfowl hunting location permit number 186. Whereas John N. Hopping III is the original waterfowl hunting location permittee since November 1st, 1999, and added Richard K. Kelly as a permittee on March 14th, 2014, whereas John N. Hopping III submitted his waterfowl hunting renewal application on October 18th, 2021, and whereas Richard K. Kelly submitted his waterfowl hunting renewal application on October 14th, 2021, whereas the trustees have received a request from John N. Hopping III on May 3rd, 2021 to remove permittee, Richard K. Kelly from waterfowl hunting location permit number 186, located on the south side of Poxabaga Pond, Village of Sagaponack, Town of Southampton. Now therefore be it resolved that the trustees of the freeholders and commonalty of the Town of Southampton hereby direct that a public hearing shall be held Monday, December 6th at 1 p.m. via Zoom video conference to hear any and all persons either for or against said request, and be it further resolved that the following notice of public hearing for publication in the official newspaper of the trustees and to post the same on the official trustee website and signboard, that the public hearing will take place Monday, December 6, 2021 at 1 p.m. via Zoom video conference. I'd like to recommend the approval.
Second.
Ed seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The next item was executive session, but we don't need to have that.
Yeah, we've had plenty of that today.
Plenty of that.
I think the next is a motion to adjourn.
I do have one thing to bring up. I was out with Cornell Cooperative Extension, Greg Rivera, Chris Smith, and another one of the people from Cornell last week, reseeding Western Shinnecock Bay with 1,000 juvenile scallops. They were placed at Rampester West Point, also between Corwin Lane and the Tiana Bay Motel, in the shellfish sanctuary that we have with Stony Brook College. And the remainder of the shellfish, about 33,000, were placed on the south side of Western Shinnecock Bay by the Tiana Beach Pavilion, and close proximity to the 5-acre shellfish sanctuary that we have with Cornell. So that was done. And this week, either Wednesday or Thursday, we will putting the remainder of the scallops, 100,000, in Eastern Shinnecock Bay. Once we get the scallops over, it will be GPS by Cornell and be available for everybody to look at on our website.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. I'd just like to say that both SAG and Mecox Cuts have closed. They are or were both overwashed for over the last couple days with storm surge. The salinity in Mecox is just in the 7s, so it came up slightly due to the overwash. An application was put into the DEC to extend the emergency authorization that was applied for Thursday, November 4th. The response was that an extension would not be granted, but rather that another emergency authorization would need to be applied for. There was also a question as to the September 14th of 2021 request for additional material for the multi-year permit, and that there has not been an answer granted to the DEC for those additional items.
Okay, and the reason for that was that the DEC indicated that they were not going to address the Mecox management plan, which in the opinion of the board is a flawed document, which unnecessarily constrains us to artificial time periods. So by not giving them the information until a new Mecox management plan is adopted, does not allow the DEC to issue a flawed 10-year permit. They told us, because the last time we applied for an emergency permit, we started to see language that was mimicking the Mecox management plan in direct contravention of what they had been saying all along. So in order to not receive a flawed document, which we'd have to fight in court, we decided not to supply them with the information that would not allow them to render a 10-year permit in haste. That is something that we couldn't live with, because it's obvious that for the last 50 years we've been digging a 200-foot wide cut through the back. It was started at 10 foot they thought was adequate, and now we finally got up to a 75-foot, And that's showing that that's still not adequate. So the brain surgeons down there at the DEC have to realize that we need the 200-foot wide cut. So Rob Young is working on that right now, and I will call him tomorrow and see where he is. It should be imminent. A revised, leaner, more in tune with the way we've been managing MECOX for the last 50 years, plan to be received.
Yeah,
So how
this
long
permit
can it stay open?
and plans will mirror what we previously had the past two permits.
Well, actually, going on with the last two permits plus before the DEC got involved, Army Corps of Engineers in the exact same spot, the exact same width, the exact same amount of material placed, and the spoils placed in exactly the same place for 50 years. Now they want to reinvent the wheel.
I think it would be prudent to communicate that information to the DEC.
Okay.
Is Jim Walker handling this? Who's handling this?
Well, Jim Walker's on sort of like hiatus right now because we're waiting for Rob Young's report. So we can have him write a letter to the DEC explaining why we are not supplying the information as of yet. Okay.
We are reworking the permit to mirror the old permit, but to work in 2021, 22, where the beach has become much higher and the length that we need to excavate has become much wider. So it's a building beach. People should be happy with that, but it also causes headaches for us to maintain it and to drain it properly. It only half drains now, and that's what we've seen the last 5 times.
And so cut it.
How long
What
did it
did
stay
you
open
say,
this
Eric?
time?
75 foot is not going to cut it. It's
So it stayed like a week.
not going to be adequate.
That was it, right?
200
Yes.
foot.
Yep. I think it would, as I said, I think it would be prudent to communicate that, seeing as it's been 8 weeks and they have not had any type of response from us.
Okay. All right, we'll have Jim Ward write up some. I'll call him up tomorrow.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to close the meeting.
I got one thing.
What?
Oh, you got something.
Constance Point Hatchery is gonna donate oyster seed over the weekend to put in the water in North Sea Harbor. They've been doing it every year for the last few years.
You going out with them?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm gonna do base scalps later, but I will get a hold of Ed for that.
Yes, once we figure out what the survival rate was in Cold Springs, if any,
Yeah.
then we can make a good decision.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks.
All right.
Anybody else? Okay, make a motion to close the meeting.
Second.
Second.
That's it, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thanks a lot. Now everybody can have a shot after this day.
Yeah.